1, 2, 3.
Where's Reis?
Where's Reis?
The Van Mores.
Where's Reis?
¿Dónde está Malicio? What up? So my name is Reis Armstrong, and some of you may know me from traveling. And for those of you who don't know, I travel around the world. I've backpacked to over 20 countries. And I used to have a YouTube channel where I pretty much showcase my travels and how I would go from country to country. And I called it Where's Reis? Well, I haven't done that in a while because I just didn't really know how to promote it. And I didn't really know which direction I wanted to go with it. But now I have a clearer understanding, and when I first started that YouTube channel, it was about 4 years ago. But I've grown so much as a person, as a traveler, as a speaker, a more conscious traveler as well. And so since that has happened over the last 4 years, I've just gone from not really knowing what to do to kind of having a better understanding of what to do. And so now I live in Australia. And since I moved to Australia, I've been interviewed by different travel magazines, one of them being Travel Noir, which is pretty much an online travel magazine that's catered towards Black travelers. And when they interviewed me, the same day that it came out, I had received like 400 new Instagram followers from just that one article about how I moved to Australia. And with those 400 new followers came 400 new messages and DMs and comments of people asking me how did I do it. And so with that said, I just felt like it was again time to reinvent my YouTube page, so to speak, and to reinvent myself really. And just to let the world in on how I travel, how I manage my money, how I eat healthy while traveling, and how I stay in hostels, and just to really share my travel experience with the world. You are now witnessing the new Where's Reis, as you see from the t-shirt. I kind of want to just bring you guys into my cipher and my space so you can just come along this journey with me and live vicariously through me, and also hopefully inspire you to want to travel as well, and just to see other things outside of America, because there is life outside of America. People can live abundantly, they can live freely, they can live fearlessly. And I just want people to know that there's another side to the world than what we are used to, especially Black people. Too many of us don't have a passport, first and foremost. You know, Blacks and Latinos, we tend to just stay in our safe space, our hometown. And I just want more Black and Latino people to really get out and see the world. I'll pretty much break it down into 2 sections. It'll be a how-to section, like how to for travel tips, how to live in Australia, how to navigate through a hostel, how to pack for your first time going abroad. And it'll also be another side to my YouTube channel where I'll bring you on my journeys as I, experience new things, as I go on my spiritual journeys, as I try new foods, as I meet new people. I'll bring you into all of that. So my new page will now encompass the travel side and also the tip side of it. So my first few months in Australia were, I don't want to curse, fuck it.
Bruh.
My first few months in Australia were fucking awesome. I came back home because my great grandmother turned 90, and so we had a surprise birthday party for her, which was Wakanda/African theme. So I came back for that because I would have missed that for the world. And no matter where I'm at, I'm going to always show love to my family, point blank period, especially my great grandma. Mi abuelita. So my first few months in Australia were great. I met great people. I didn't travel so much because I was more so based in Melbourne, and Melbourne is like the more international, eclectic city of Australia. It's the most culturally diverse city in Australia, and it's very artistic, and there's a lot of live music. And so Melbourne was just, it treated me good. And so whenever I get back to Australia to settle, that's where I'll be. So I'm going to talk to you about how did I move to Australia. So I have what is called a working holiday visa. And with that working holiday visa, it's good for 1 year. Now, if you want to stay for 2 years, you can, but you have to work in a specific region of Australia, and you have to work in a specific field. So me being an American, I can work in the north, pretty much all over, but it has to be outside of the major metropolitan areas like Sydney and Melbourne. It can't be within those areas if I want to stay for a second year. And you have to work in a certain type of field. So I'm probably going to work in tourism or hospitality. Now, if you do that for 3 months, you can then be granted your second year visa. So when you're granted your second year visa, you can now stay for 2 years. But you have to complete those first 3 months of work within the first year of your first year visa. And then after that, you're good to go. So I have that visa, and it cost about $320, if I'm not mistaken, $320 American dollars. Do the whole application online, and you submit it. And pretty much all you have to have is like a good record. If you don't have like any felonies, if you can show proof that you have at least $3,000 in the bank, then that's all you need. So no felony records, $3K in the bank, and to actually pay for the visa, which is $320, and then you solid. I got approved for my visa in legit 5 minutes, like no lie. So I mean, it's legit just that simple to move to another country. Of course, you have to, prepare financially, but that's common sense. You would never move anywhere and not have enough money. So me, what I did was I pretty much just like saved for the entire year. I worked on my exit plan. My exit plan was just to save. So if it means cutting corners and not buying a new pair of shoes, or not buying a new outfit, or a new gadget, or whatever the case may be, whatever you have to do to get to where you need to be, that's what you have to do. I now have the working holiday visa, and fast forward a year, I'm now living in Australia. I know people have questions about, how to make money when you first get there. But if you have saved up enough to be comfortable for at least 3 months, then you should be fine. Minimum wage is very high in Australia. It's 19 American dollars, which equals 23 Australian dollars. So you can make a good living in Australia. And you also get paid like a few dollars more if you work on the weekends or if you work overnight. That's like by law. It's a good country to transition to if it's your first time outside of America. And now you can't be a sexual offender at all and enter the country of Australia. If you can check off those 4 things, you're good. You can go anywhere in Australia and live anywhere and work anywhere. The good thing about Australia is that you can come and go as you please with this work holiday visa. You don't have to be there for the entire year. If you want to go home for a week, you can. If you want to go to a different country for a week, you can. You can exit and enter the country at will with no penalties or whatever. It may be very far from, America and South America and things like that, but you're close to tons of Asian countries, like South Korea and Japan and China and Indonesia and India and also New Zealand. And you can go anywhere pretty much. Flights tend to be very cheap when you leave from Australia. My flight from Sydney to Melbourne was like $35. You will never pay for that amount of a flight in America, point blank. It's just not going to happen. When I went from Melbourne to Bali, it was like $100, that's like a 6-hour flight. That's like going from LA to New York. You will never pay $100 going from LA to New York. It's just not going to happen. So flights tend to be very cheap and inexpensive, and just the overall life of Australia is the lifestyle. To me, Australia is what America sells as the American dream. And what I mean by that is healthcare is pretty much free in Australia. There's no guns, so you don't have to worry about being in a drive-by or a mass shooting or anything like that. It's just the overall sense of safety that you feel being in Australia, that I feel anyway, being a person of color. And even if you don't want to live somewhere, just go visit, just to go. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt. It may cost a pretty penny, and it may not. It just depends. The way I see it is that if you could spend $800 on an iPhone, you could spend $800 on a trip to anywhere in the world. Why not? What you got to lose? So And that's always just been my motto when it comes to picking and choosing the things that I want to do. And you know, I would rather just travel than to buy a new pair of jeans or a new pair of shoes or whatever the case may be. I encourage anybody, any and everybody, even if you do have children, to go and experience the world. More specifically, people who don't have kids, who don't have any real responsibilities, it'll be a lot easier for us, of course. But I definitely encourage you to go because you don't have nothing stopping you. Now is the time. You just go for it. You just do it. You know, stop with Stop with the procrastination. You know, figure out your exit plan and execute it. Period. That's what I did. I gave myself 1 year to save and to make this move happen. And guess what? In 1 year's time, that's exactly what I did, and you can do it too. I mean, and so far, I've had a great first few months in Australia. I spent my first Christmas in Australia. I spent my first New Year's in Australia. That was lit. I spent that with some homies who I met in my hostel called United Backpackers. I released my first album in Australia, For the Brokenhearted. Get that too on all musical platforms. I'm getting back out into the world, and I'll see y'all soon, and I'll let y'all know how that goes, and I'll, you know, continue to make more videos by the week. And yeah, I'll just bring y'all along with my journey, and we can share this experience together. So peace, love, and soul. I love y'all. I'm out.